Do this every week and forgot to press the button to go live today. I started talking. It's been one of those. It's been a calm week, but for whatever reason, the brain's on hold. Hey, anyways, hello and welcome to this week's Profit Maximizer Moment. This show is dedicated to helping business owners dramatically improve their bottom line with our weekly profit maximizing tips that you can use now. I'm your host and coach, Wayne Belisle. I'm also the founder of a local CPA firm that works with business owners to help them make more money and keep more of it from the IRS. I do that with our profit coaching programs and with our tax planning system, which has saved our clients well over $7 million. I've literally stopped counting over the last 5-6 years. All legally, like I say every week, love my clients, really don't want to share a jail cell with them. Today we've been talking about time management. And one of the key things about that is outsourcing. So we're going to talk about how to decide what to outsource. But first, support for today's show is brought to you by Profit Maximizing Publishing. I can't pick things up today, which published my book, The 90-Day Profit Reset, which shows you how to gain your independence from reduced cash flow, shrinking margins, and evaporating customer base. In this book, you'll find idea after idea about, in chapter after chapter, idea after idea about how to turn around your business. Remember, really pay attention to the index. Got a lot of my coaching checklist in there that do a really good job helping you. All right, there's a lot of good material in there. Even entrepreneurs who are making money will benefit from this book by learning how to make more. Let's not worry too much about it. Anyways, so talked about it over the last month, really. Tax planning safe. But one of the things I said, you need to outsource what you shouldn't be working on. And one of the questions I get all the time is, what should I outsource? Well, that's a good question, actually. To answer this, I give them a 3-part test. Everything you do, you should look at this. If a task occurs one time, outsource it. Examples are setting up your computer network, establishing a website, installing an accounting program. I've seen people waste a ton of money putting in QuickBooks or something like that and not doing that good of a job because they're not accountants. All right. And on top of that, they don't really, they don't know what they don't know. And we can do it a lot faster, and your time's more important. We'll get to that in a minute. I've been guilty of this. I mean, I did, I use this example a lot. I had a problem when I used to do all my own computer work because everybody did it when computers were first coming out. I opened up in the 90s, so this would have been, and started my business in 91. So this would have been about 92, 93. So laptops were relatively new still. They came out in the mid 80s, unless real ones that you could use for business. If you go back before then, late 70s, you had other things, but then let's not get off track. But, I remember just had a problem. It wouldn't load. So I spent all day Friday, half a day Saturday, and finally gave up. And at church on Sunday, I run into a computer guy I know that had just started his computer business. And I told him what was going on. He says, well, I got something going on Monday morning, but I'll be there like before noon. So he shows up 15 minutes later. He's got it worked and fixed and running. And I'm like, well, and he explains what the problem was. And then he goes, truthfully, I could have done it in 5 minutes or less, but I had to undo what you did. And I'm like, okay. So now, I used to fix my own copier problems back, when I had it. Now I got a simple rule. I promise my computer guy and my copier guys in particular, and my plumber, I promise not to try to fix it if you show up on time. So what am I talking about? So if a task occurs only one time, outsource it. Don't waste your time. Second thing, if a task occurs on a regular basis but has absolutely no effect on the customer experience, outsource it. Examples of this are doing your own payroll, preparing monthly sales tax reports, advertising campaigns, and your monthly bookkeeping. I do my own bookkeeping, obviously. And for the longest time, I didn't. I had my wife do it, but I simplify it. But if I wasn't an accountant, I wouldn't do it. It's simple as that. I wouldn't. It doesn't have it. It's a task that occurs on a regular basis, but that has no effect on the customer experience. Plus, I'm not going to have that. Okay, like marketing. People are like, "Wow, you're everywhere. Your marketing campaign. You must spend a lot of time on it." No, I don't. I record these videos, and then I outsourced somebody who's a professional, who knows what the heck they're doing, who takes it and then puts it everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, wherever the heck else I got it going. I don't even remember off the top of my head. Plus emails, they do the blog off these videos, so it looks like I'm doing a lot, but I'm not. I'm taking, 5 to 15 minutes a week and recording. And then I hired somebody to do it. Used to mail out a bunch of stuff. I would have my kids do it. It caused problems. They'd forget to put postage on. Sometimes they didn't put things in the envelope. When they graduated, I sent it to a mailing house who did it faster, cheaper, and quicker. Why? Because that's what they do. Okay. So the third category when I'm looking at a task is if a task occurs on a regular basis and has a direct impact on your customers, focus on it. It's also a good way to get what's your unique selling position, those things that have a direct impact on your customers and the things you should be focusing on. I say we do 3 things. We do your tax return, we do tax planning to make sure you pay as little as legally possible, and we do profit coaching to help you increase your profits. Pretty easy. Everything else that gets in the way, we got rid of. We don't do bookkeeping anymore. We don't do payroll returns anymore. And we don't do sales tax returns. We don't do sales tax audits. We help at the beginning, but that's about it. Remember, why? The key to your business success is to concentrate on what you do well that the customer sees value in. Every business, no matter what industry it is in, is really in the business of getting customers, keeping them as long as possible, and getting them to come back more often and getting them to bring their friends. Basically, Dan Kennedy used to say that all the time, plus somebody that used to be with him that escapes my mind right now. That's the key. Every business at its core is a marketing company. All right. So that's what you need to remember. Now, that doesn't mean that you ignore everything else. I've had too many, as a CPA, you can talk to any CPA, we've had too many people who are really good at selling, but they still went broke because they ignored everything else. The backroom stuff like paying the payroll taxes, paying your sales tax, collecting your receivables, controlling your inventory, managing your employees, et cetera, can cause your business to fail and fast. But if you don't have sales and profit, the rest simply doesn't matter. Remember, a business without sales and profit is called a hobby. Decide, do you want a business or do you want a hobby? I'm going to give you a little bit of homework here because this is kind of important. Okay. It sounds like I might have rambled a little bit, but I did not. Okay. Here's your action tips if you really want to decide what to outsource. First, make a list of all the jobs, chores, and tasks that you're currently doing. Sounds like the same, but make sure you make a list of everything you're doing. Then apply the criteria on what should be outsourced. Remember, if a task occurs one time, outsource it. If a task occurs on a regular basis but has no effect on the customer's experience, outsource it. If a task occurs on a regular basis and has direct impact on your customers, focus on it. So put it in one of those 3 boxes, okay? Assuming the budget allows it, outsource as many jobs as possible. Repeat that for all your key employees, all right? Have them look at it too, all right? In truth, in today's world, it is so much easier to outsource. I mean, the people that do my marketing, my online marketing, they're all over the country. I don't even know where they're at. I think, one's in the Northwest, one's in Hawaii, one's somewhere else. I don't even know where that one is, to be honest. I used to, but doesn't matter. No, I got Zoom calls. We got email. You got text messages. Different world. And I got clients that got people working in India that they've outsourced stuff to the Philippines, South America. We're in a different world than we were, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So outsourcing can easily be done. Hey, this is Wayne Belial saying, until next time, let's make this our most profitable year ever. And God bless and have a great week. Until I see you next week. Thank you.